That rainy night wasn't just about washing away the day's grime. It ended up washing away something much worse. Blood, soon to be discovered. It also seemed to wash away some of the darkness clouding my mind. If only the rain had come earlier, maybe there wouldn't have been any blood to wash away. Welcome to this channel. Before we get started, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to know when new videos come out. Now let's begin. I'm a guy who works from home and my office is on the top floor of my house. I've got a window next to me, and I usually leave the curtains open. Sometimes when I'm working late at night, I forget to close them. You know how it is, if it's dark outside and your light's on, people can see in, but you can't see out. One night I was focused on my work and a conference call, not paying attention to the window. When the call ended and I turned off the lights, there she was, a woman standing outside, staring right at me through the window. It wasn't like she was just checking out the house, she was looking right at me. I thought maybe she was one of those annoying people who knock on your door trying to sell stuff, but it was late, and she was just staring. Instead of freaking out, I decided to wait and see what she'd do. I figured she couldn't see me with the lights off. I checked my phone, and sure enough, the doorbell camera had caught her. She stood there for a few more minutes and then walked away. I felt weirded out, but decided to keep an eye out in case she came back. A few days later, I saw her again while walking my dog. My dog started acting strange, pulling towards her. When I looked where my dog was pulling, I saw the same woman crouched behind a car, watching me. I got spooked and quickly walked away with my dog. As I was heading home, I saw her standing in front of my house. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept walking towards her. She didn't say anything, just stared at me. I asked if she needed help, thinking maybe she was lost or something, but she didn't say anything. Then, out of the blue, she asked if she could pet my dog. I said okay, and she started talking about how cute my dog was. I tried to ask her why she'd been hanging around my house, but she didn't give me a straight answer. She just said something weird about love and then left. Since then, she's still been showing up now and then, just standing outside my house. It's creepy, but she hasn't really done anything wrong, so I don't know what to do. I hope she stops bothering me soon. I've been into urban exploration, or HERC, for a couple of years now. Living in Germany, there are always nearby places to visit. At first, I went with friends because I was scared to go alone. I was worried about things like getting attacked or worse. But after a while, I felt confident enough to explore on my own. I learned about safety, like wearing masks in old buildings to avoid breathing in harmful stuff like asbestos. I also made sure to wear tough clothes and shoes to protect myself from sharp objects. I always planned my trips carefully and shared my location with a friend. I'd been on many solo adventures, exploring abandoned places across East Germany. But in July 2018, something went terribly wrong. I was searching for bunkers used in wars like World War II, and found one deep in a forest. It was untouched, and I was excited to explore it. I managed to get inside, but the smell was awful, like something had died. The place was huge, filled with trash and old papers. Then I found a pillow with human hair stuffed inside. It creeped me out, but I kept exploring. I found signs of someone living there recently, like food wrappers and clothes. Then I walked into a room and found 3 dead bodies, an old man, a woman, and a young boy. They were swollen and purple. I was horrified and wanted to call for help, but there was no cell service. I took photos and ran out as fast as I could. As I reached the road, I heard someone coming after me. It was a tall, older man with a knife. I barely made it to my car and drove away as fast as I could. I stopped at a gas station and called my dad, then went to the police, but they never followed up. Since then, I've stopped urban exploring, and it took a long time for me to feel safe going out alone again. I even needed therapy to deal with the trauma. Even now, years later, I can't forget the images and sounds from that day. I was sitting in the staff room trying to calm down after a hectic shift. If I had known that taking on extra work for Christmas would be so tough, I would have just made some DIY calendars with macaroni and glitter instead. I had seen ads for temporary Christmas jobs at a big online retailer. I won't say which one. You might have seen ads for them if you're still not sure. During training, a manager boasted about how the warehouse had its own road, built by the local council just for them. The job was as a picker, which meant I had to rush around the shelves picking up items for packing. I thought I was prepared for it, having worked in target-driven jobs before. But boy, was I wrong. I took a pedometer to work one day and was shocked to see that I covered nearly 16 miles in a single shift. The job was repetitive, but the pressure was intense. I had this little beeping machine that I had to use to scan items, and it drove me crazy. If my pick rate dropped too low, it started beeping like crazy. Every shift was the same. Beep, beep, beep. It was like a race against time to pick enough items per hour. The physical toll was harsh. My nails were broken and my knees hurt from all the squatting. But the worst was the blisters on my feet. Every shift, I'd check my feet and see raw, irritated skin. One day, I was offered a night shift, which was supposed to pay better and have lower pick rate targets. But it turned out to be just as tough. There were fewer people working, and the warehouse was dark, with only motion-detecting spotlights. As I was rushing around one night, I noticed something strange. The spotlights were turning on in empty aisles. I tried to brush it off, but it kept happening. It was eerie, but I had to focus on hitting my targets. Finally, after a tough shift, I managed to get my pick rate back up. But Derek, the supervisor, wasn't impressed. He made a snarky comment, but I brushed it off. I just wanted to get through the night and go home. I went to the small staff room to grab a cheap energy drink since I couldn't afford a real Red Bull. It was a dingy little room with faded white paint and uncomfortable plastic chairs. There was a coffee machine labeled complimentary coffee, but it was anything but free. Natalie, another girl on the night shift, was there too. She was staring blankly at a coffee cup, looking lost in thought. "Hey, Natalie," I said, trying to get her attention. She seemed startled, as if she'd been in a daze. "Have you had any problems with the lights?" "Yeah, all the time," she replied. "I've lost count of how many times I've stumbled around in the dark because the motion sensors didn't work. I'll break my leg one day, just you watch." "What about the lights coming on when there's no one there?" I asked. "Not to me, but Paul mentioned it a few times," she said. "It's a lousy system. They must be saving a fortune on electricity bills." Natalie's scanner beeped, signaling the end of our break. "All ready?" She sighed, standing up and leaving. As the fake energy from the drink kicked in, I felt a surge of determination. My scanner beeped, indicating the start of another round of picking. The first pick was a mixed bag of items from all over the warehouse. I charged down the aisles, scanning items as fast as I could. But then, disaster struck. The American sweets I needed to pick were nowhere to be found. They were showing as in stock, but the shelves were empty. I searched frantically, but all I heard was the relentless beeping of my scanner as my pick rate dropped below target. I cursed under my breath, shouting insults at my scanner. I was frustrated and exhausted, but I kept searching. Suddenly, the lights in the aisle started turning on one by one, like a wave heading towards me. I froze in terror as the lights grew closer, until I was surrounded by darkness. Then, with a deafening burst of light, every lamp in the aisle turned on at once. I was face to face with a massive, shadowy figure. Its hands reached out towards me and I bolted, running as fast as I could to the safety of the staff room. Derek, the supervisor, was there, looking concerned. He entered a code into my scanner and my pick rate reset. "I'll transfer you to the day shift," he said softly, and I breathed a sigh of relief.